We appreciate the passion very much. But do try to keep your mics muted until the end because we are going to do a little Q&A toward the end of the class. We'll give you a chance to ask questions. And actually,
Oh, okay.
throughout the presentation, if you want to type them in the chat area, Rob will kind of answer a few
Yeah.
here and there. But I would like to take a couple of them live if we have time at the end of the class. Um, so yeah, I think everybody's here, and there'll be people that will continue to come in. Do us a favor in the chat area. Tell us where you're watching and listening from. We've got people from not only all over this country, but it's always fun to hear from people that are overseas as well. We've got, I think Rob, I think last time we had like 7 people from like Europe join us.
Yeah, I
A
forget I
couple of
forget where
people
it
from
was, but
Australia,
yeah.
and some people had to do it at 3 in the morning. That's
Yeah.
that's passion, ladies and
We got
gentlemen.
some good ones. We got Midland, Texas. Yay, Midland. Atlanta, Georgia, New Bern, North Carolina, and Vegas.
Yes,
Vegas, baby.
awesome. I'm from just outside of Minneapolis, Minnesota. Rob is in Austin, Texas. One of the which brings me to, I'm going to put up the presentation in a minute, but that's kind of the beauty, Rob, of voiceover is, you no longer have to live in like LA or New York to be able to do voiceovers. You can really have a nice, cozy home studio set up anywhere in the country and work with any client in the country
Yeah.
as well. You're not subjected to just working with clients in your own area.
No, I mean you and I both know there's a couple of people that have got RVs and they travel around the country and wherever they stop for the night or for the next couple of nights, they plug in, they do their auditions, they send out their work, they do their marketing, and they move on. And it's a great way to go. Yeah, you don't need to be in LA or New York to work in voiceover. I mean, maybe if you're working in voice acting, if you're doing animation and video games and stuff like that, but well, I guess video games you need to be in Texas. You need to be in Austin. But for most every other job, you can be anywhere in the world and make money doing it. So that's kind of nice.
Absolutely. So again, if you've got questions throughout the presentation, and I promise you this isn't going to be like a 50 slide PowerPoint presentation, with like anybody been to an insurance seminar where it's like 75 pages of, oh man, Rob, that if you go to that, I would hope that there'd be a couple of bars right in the conference room.
I've done some AV work where I've had to run the audio for lectures, and I've been in the back room listening to some guy drone on about insurance, and it's just you're just slamming coffee to stay awake, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, this is going to be a lot more fun than
Yeah.
that, you guys, I promise. All right. So let's talk about the reason that you're here is because you have an interest in the field of voice acting. And again, I've been doing it for about 30 years. I guess my niche, if you will, would be commercials, theme park promos, and, e-learning, corporate narration, explainer, video narration. Now, you heard me say theme park promos. Another thing that you can do from the comfort of your own home, because I don't live at Six Flags or near Six Flags. I don't live near Stone Mountain Park in Atlanta, but yet I do a lot of theme park announcements where I record from here and then I send them to the client at these parks. And then, boom, a day or two later, you can hear me out their PA system. So that's a beautiful thing about voiceovers. You can just do it right from the comfort of your own home. But it's really important that you research the business because there can be a lot of misconstrued information online, the
I
internet,
don't hear anything.
and social media. We got to keep that mic mute, man. I don't know what the deal is there.
That's okay. They're working on it.
There's, how it is on social media, and there's a lot of wonderful information. And it's not just voiceover. It's if you're going into like photography or music mixing and mastering or theater or whatever. Great information on how to get started the right way, right? Well, there's a lot of really bad information out there as well. There's people always trying to kind of take your money, these charlatan snake oil so-called coaches who are making outlandish income guarantees, and they shove you in a studio to do your demo after taking a 1 hour class on a Saturday morning. And Rob, that not only pisses me off, it breaks my heart when I see that online, and it breaks my heart when people fall for this stuff.
It's easy to be swayed by that type of thing. You know, the weekend workshop where they show you everything there is to know about voiceover in 2 days, and then they cut a demo for you that is honestly good for nothing. You can't learn voiceover in 2 days and put out a demo that's going to be marketable. It's just not going to work. If the workshop was free and they offered some basic advice on what to do, great. But if they're trying to upsell you a package like, hey, this was free and you've got a great skill for this, you should join our program.
without even
That's
without even
that's usually what they are.
without even talking to you. You've got a great skill to be in animation. You could
Exactly.
make
Yeah.
millions as a cartoon voice. No. So yeah, we're not here to bash competitors or anything like that, but it's gotten really out of control out there. So we're just trying to be transparent with you guys and just we want to encourage you to do your research. If this is something that you want to pursue and you're interested in training with a good company, do your research, whether you end up working with us or there's other great companies out there that you want to research and uh, on whether it's social media or the internet. So just yeah, do your due diligence and let's do it. So, and then by the way, this everybody one of the biggest questions that I get via email or I get phone calls too, sometimes voicemails at 2 in the morning. Some of those can be interesting, but everybody has the same question. All right, I've been thinking about this for 40, 50 years. I get tired of my cousins, my siblings, my parents, my best friends, my pastor telling me that I should do something with my voice. And here it comes. Here's the big question. How do I get started? So that's what we're here to tell you today is how to get started the right way. Rob and I have been not only doing voiceover for 30 years, but we've been teaching the craft for what I think we started many moons ago, Rob. And
It's
we've seen a lot of stuff out there and you and I can proudly say we cut out the bullshit.
trends come and go, and you and I have seen them. Remember the 5 second demos?
Oh yeah. Yeah, what
those
happened to
those went
that?
away in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah, they did.
But I mean, we've been around the block enough times that we know what's going on, and we're going to shoot you straight on the right info.
Oh my God, the cassette started. The
How
cassette
did you do
started
that? Oh,
playing.
it's got a little looper. That's
No,
cute.
I didn't have, I've got nothing to do with it. I think my computer's possessed. Unbelievable. All right. So the second step, when you really do some research and you're like, okay, because it's really easy to get excited about like, oh my God, I can actually make money doing voiceovers because there's a lot of books out there that can be, yeah, it can be a very lucrative business, but some of the books are even misleading when they show these $100 bills floating in front of a microphone on the cover of a book, and it's more about they're just trying to sell books more than teaching you a craft and helping you perfect your performance skills. And that's what we're here to talk about tonight. And coaching really does it. Whether you're getting into music, sports, I mean, name any profession. Everybody is successful these days because of the fact that they went through some kind of training program or worked with a coach. I came from radio, so coaching was vital because I had one kind of delivery, and it was a very radio announcery, authoritative, broadcast-like delivery. I would seriously, Rob, I would read a warm-hearted, authentic coffee commercial, and people would run into their basement because they think there was a tornado warning.
It's so funny that TV guys and radio guys all have a distinctive sound to their voice, and they all think they're talking natural. But I've never met a single person that actually sounds like they're talking like this. You
It's
know,
a hard
it
habit to break. Sorry for the
I know.
Chicago reference, but it really is because you get so institutionalized into that style of delivery that it's really hard to get out of it on your own.
Absolutely.
Rob, one thing I don't think I made you a co-host. I'm going to do that right
Oh
now.
my God.
So you
Oh
have all,
no.
because you need to have all the power. So what I was saying is it's really hard to break it's not a bad habit. It was just what you learned in radio. That was the type of delivery that was suitable as a radio announcer. Well, voice acting is a different entity because you have to sound very authentic. You have to sound very conversational in a lot of commercials, like you're having a conversation with a best friend or a sibling. Just like, you hear those it blows my mind sometimes when I'm watching TV. I mean, I stream a lot, so I don't see as many commercials as I used to, which is ironic for being a voice actor. You'd think I'd want to see all of them, but how effortless, Rob, it is for a lot of these voice actors to sound so natural. Like, for example, in like a food commercial or a coffee commercial or farmers insurance or whatever. I mean, it definitely does not sound like they're reading from a script.
Well, I think part of it is a lot of times the commercial, like big budget commercials, use big name actors like John Krasinski and those types of people because they're actors and they know that if they need to deliver a line that's got some serious, emotional connection to it, they know that this person's qualified. So understanding acting and understanding the performance and the subtleties of what you're saying is really what it's all about.
Yeah, and it is. I mean, there's a reason it's called voice acting for a reason. Even if you're just narrating I keep referring to a coffee commercial, but even if you're just one voice narrating a coffee commercial, you're still technically playing a character because you have to be this warm-hearted, trustworthy guy next door type character where maybe, in real life you're kind of hyper and hopped up and maybe you're a little intense. I just described myself. But when you're doing a job, you have to kind of sound authentic like this, like you're just having a warm, warm cup of coffee.
It's really important to pay attention to the mood of the commercial that you're doing or whatever the piece is. A lot of people think, they have to become an actor and so they're taking a face off the wall and they're becoming this person. No, it's none of that crap.
Yeah.
It's about being honest. If I needed to play the part of Sherlock Holmes, I'm not going to do a Benedict Cumberbatch impression. I'm going to say, okay, if Rob Marley was the world's greatest detective and he's a little off, uh, how would he behave and how would he act? And being honest with who you are, being true to yourself is what they're looking for. They don't want somebody faking it because we can all easily tell when somebody is faking it. And if you can tell you're faking it, then the illusion is ruined. So it's all about being as real and as honest as possible.
Real, and you have to sound trustworthy. I mean, you have to, like, even if anybody has ever like recorded themselves reading a script and then you listen to it back, ask ask yourself that question. Ask your voice recording this question. Do I believe what this person is telling me? Do I trust this person?
Hmm.
Would I, what are they persuading me to go buy a product, or, if it's an investment banker commercial, actually use this type of service? It's not one where you can just, now there's still those local, Rob, those local announcery jobs on, like, for example, local car dealerships where there's still, where everything we said just kind of goes out the window because they really do just yell the copy.
Well, I mean, there's some of that. There's some of the hard sell stuff still out there, but even most of the car commercials that I hear, it's still a person trying to express a personality. They're trying to show that they're a real guy that would drive this car and not be the classic announcer. I mean, sometimes that's out there, but a lot of stuff that I hear is just trying to be real. I mean, look at Alfa Romeo. I
Yeah,
love Alfa Romeo has a female voice actor for their spokesperson for their stuff. It was
right.
the first time, like, it was revolutionary that a female voice did a car commercial, but
I love it.
she's fantastic and
Yeah.
she sounds natural doing it. It doesn't sound like she's trying to sell to you. She's just telling you why you need this car.
Yeah, perfect, perfect example. And coaching is kind of vital too, because you're going to eventually, and we're going to talk about the importance of actually having a professional voiceover demo, which is your calling card, your resume per se. But coaching is vital too, because you're going to have to, do plenty of live directed sessions with clients. And if anybody's never heard of that, that's basically they're on the line with you via Zoom, or there is an IP to IP um, product called Source Connect, which is basically a digital ISDN line where the client will direct you live on that software. And they're going to want you to read the script a few different times, and they'll give you live direction. Some of them can be very picky. I've been in a lot of live directed sessions where they've been very picky. I've been in a lot of live directed sessions, Rob, where no one says anything, and I'm like, all right, we good? Yeah, they had seven people on the call, and nobody offered anything. I read the script like three times. I'm like, well, I'm good. Betty, are you good? Yep, good. Yep.
Yeah.
Rob, are we good? I'm good. I'm good. I'm
I,
like, why do you have 10 people in on the call trying to give me direction when nobody said anything?
You know, it's funny. I say this all the time, but the bigger the budget, the less headaches you seem to have. Like my biggest paying job was through an
Oh, that's
agency in
so true.
London.
So true.
And I was really nervous to do this gig. We landed it. I got set up in a Source Connect call, and I read the script twice, and they said, "Yeah, that's good." And I was like, "Okay." But the ones that pay like $100 on a net 90, those will be the ones that will want like nine revisions. And oh, we changed this sentence. Can you do it this way? And so those become the biggest pain in the butt. So the higher the
Oh,
budget, the better the
those,
work.
well, that's always been my problem with Fiverr because a lot of these
Right.
clients who just really don't pay really like the fees that we deserve sometimes, and yet they want all these free revisions, and then they'll do a rewrite, and then they'll expect you to do that without, adding a second fee for that, and it just becomes this big migraine with a client, and you've done this job for 75 bucks and they want like 12 takes. That's why it's such a, we'll get to that in a little bit though. That's so important to, find the clients that pay industry standard rates, and they're definitely out there,
And
and
not only that,
them
but
from direct marketing.
have it all set up in writing. It
Yeah,
doesn't need to be a big contract of this and that, but just have it in the memo in the email exchange with the client saying, "Okay, you're going to pay me X amount for me to do this, and I'm going to provide this many takes and this many revisions, and anything more is going to cost more," and have that set up in writing somewhere so that they can't come back with 19 revisions and expect you to keep jumping through their hoops.
absolutely. Third step, very important, is you really need a professional demo. You have to have something for the client to not only hear for themselves, but a lot of the times we're working with the middle person that will send your demo to the real decision maker. So that's one thing. Talent agents will absolutely not put you on a talent agency roster without a demo. They're imperative to have the best chance to succeed. I mean, they're really your calling card. I mean, it's no different than a model or an on-camera actor, absolutely needing a headshot for the website, or a reel, as we call, on-camera actors have a reel of about 5 or 6 clips of commercials they've been in, or maybe they've been on a series on the Hallmark Channel or FX or whatever. Even if they're playing an extra, they have usually, a 2-minute reel of all their work. It works very similarly for voiceover demos too. Commercial demos, I do all the voiceover demos for UVT coaching, and I try to keep them around 60 seconds long. Most talent agents, not all of them, some of them have gotten really looser where they don't mind if they're a little bit longer, but I'll take like 5 or 6 clips, all a little bit different, because variety is key on a demo. You want to show a buyer or a talent agent that you're versatile. I'm not saying that you can't make money being kind of a one note talent, but the more personalities you can inflect in your voice, different moods and different levels of energy, just being an overall versatile voice actor, that's what talent agents love. But you got to have something to showcase on the talent agency roster. I mean, there's people that they kind of get ahead of themselves and they start buying gear. We'll talk a little bit about gear, but Rob, it's really important to really master your skills and work towards that demo before you start spending thousands of dollars on recording gear.
Everybody, when they first get started in voiceover, thinks, okay, I need to be, if I'm a voiceover artist, I need to have a demo. And so they start with their demo. But that's actually the last step of the process.
Yeah.
You've got to build the skills to show in your demo what you can do. If you record a demo when you first get it started, all you're doing is demonstrating you don't know squat about what you're doing. You
Yeah,
need to build your skills and then get your demo going.
which is a really good reason you shouldn't. I mean, like a lot of people will call recording studios and say, "I need to get a voiceover demo," and of course they're going to take your money. They've got scripts that have been laying around their smoking lounge for 50 years, with ashes all over them, outdated copy where you can read all about the 1994 Audi or the new Christmas sale at Toys R Us, shit that's not even in business anymore. I would really discourage you from doing that because engineers are excellent at mixing and mastering. They're not really directors. They're not really actor directors, which is why
Yeah.
it's imperative. I don't mean to go backwards and talk about coaching again, but that's why it's really important to work with a pro voiceover coach.
Yeah, just for using an audio engineer, you're going to get a really good recording of your lack of skill.
Yeah,
That's what you're going to
that's
get.
it. That's what it is. You'll sound great like shit. You know, that's just basically what it is. I mean, you'll be blown away by the audio quality because you are recording in a recording studio, but then you're like, wait a minute. I read all six scripts the same way, and they
Yeah.
sound monotone. And they sound like I'm reading them. And
And
why am I shouting through half of it and whispering it, towards the second
here's
half?
here's the other problem with recording and using a recording studio. Yes, it's going to be amazing, but if the client hears that demo and they say, "We really like what you did on that one spot," and you can't duplicate that spot on your own because you
Yeah,
recorded it in a studio that's got, millions of dollars worth of equipment, you're hosed. You've got to be able to have the skills and have the technical ability on your own to send out content, auditions and content when you need it. The recording studio is just a nice thing to take selfies in, but honestly, you need
right.
to be able to be able to do this stuff on your own.
I want to play. This is going to take about 3 to 4 minutes. I want to play you guys one of our demo samplers. Now, this is going to be a combo of about 5 or 6 different talents that we've worked with, talents that we've coached, and talents where we've done their professional demos. There'll be a kind of a combination of commercials. You're going to hear some video game characters kind of in the middle, and then you're even going to hear a radio imaging demo from a talent. So this will kind of, I want to play this for you because I want you to listen for a couple of things. Listen to the variety and versatility in the versatility in the talents demo. Listen to how every clip is just a little bit different. Yes, you can tell it's their voice, but oh my God, can they change directions quickly? And I want to start with a talented gal named Rebecca Lee, who is out. You've heard her, trust me. She's done a ton of national commercial work. Every time I watch a football game, I hear her in the first or second commercial break. She's everywhere. But this particular demo led her to many national agencies across the country. So I'm going to play this sampler and let's take a listen. Oh, that's good. That's great. That's great. Well, you know what? I've got a backup.
That's funny. Like it's worked every
What
time
happened?
except
Like
now.
every time. Hang on, guys. I think it's just my computer.
Please stand by.
Rob,
Your call is important to
do you
us.
have some
Sorry.
questions in the chat you can take while I'm trying to figure this out? 'Cause I'm just going to go
I've
to,
kind of been
But wait,
answering.
there's more.
Exactly. Somebody asked, where is it? What's the biggest mistake newbies make? Kimberly asked, "What's the biggest mistake newbies make?" And I just said right off the bat, it's recording the demo before you're ready.
yeah,
Like I said, everybody wants to do the demo first, but you have to build your skills, and you have to have that skill set that makes a producer listen to it and go, "Yeah, they know what they're talking about." And it's more than just reading the words nicely. You have to understand why you're reading them a certain way and the emotions that you need to have with it. And you don't know when you first get started. You just don't know until you start doing it. Like I really thought, like I'd been an audio engineer for most of my life. And I thought I could get into voiceover, and I jumped right into voiceover and made my own demo, and got no work. And it was only after getting some serious coaching that I realized, no, I didn't know half the stuff I thought I knew. So that's one thing. That's the big thing is marketing yourself when you're not ready. And then another mistake that newbies make is that they get all this stuff going like, okay, I'll start marketing once I get my demo done, and I'll start marketing once the website's built, and I'll start marketing once I feel like I'm comfortable. And there will never be a time where you're super 100% comfortable. You have to hit the ground running with the right materials right at the start. And that means skills, demo, website have to be good, but it's more just to get out there, get your
Yeah.
voice to hit the right eardrums at the right time, and don't wait for the perfect time to send stuff out.
All right, here is, I had to go to YouTube to get our demo sampler. Thank God for YouTube for backup. But okay, here is the demo sampler. And again, listen for the variety because that is going to be key on a demo.
The grins and giggles they let out as soon as the lotion touches their skin are magical. Soft skin with so many smiles. Aveeno Baby Lotion. At Trader Joe's, we know quality and price are both equally important, which is why you get the best of both when you shop with us. Trader Joe's. Why settle for biting into a chocolate-covered cherry when we've given you the chance to drink one? Sexual Chocolate Red. Available at Total Wine.
We've lost too many to just give up. We must keep fighting if we want to live in a world free of this evil and hate. Who's with me? You must ride due east for 3 days until a large waterfall will show its beauty where the sun sets. At first light, you must fire the arrow of hope into the waterfall and kill the beast that lives there once and for all. What could you possibly have to offer me, peasant? This armor is fit for a true warrior, not some lost little boy like you. War is horrific. It will change your life in ways you cannot imagine. Being prepared for battle is one thing, boys, but being excited for it is a feeling you should never have. You heed these words and you never forget them.
There's nothing like the roar of a Harley. It's more than a motorcycle. It's freedom, adventure, and the open road calling your name. Harley-Davidson isn't just a ride, it's a lifestyle.
Tired of walking to the fridge and feeling like you've run a marathon? Ever blink so slowly your friends think you're buffering? Crush that slump with Monster Energy Drink. One sip and you'll go from couch potato to human tornado. Monster Energy, unleash the beast!
Immerse your life in the sound you love.
Here we go, let's go.
Next level spatial audio that hits from every direction. Era 300 connects you to your music like never before. Feel the sound all around, now at Sonos.com. Wait, hold up. Extreme Sport Ice? No. Try this. Go ahead. Take a whiff. Right? Vanilla and coconut. Native all-natural products for body, hair, and skin leave you feeling clean, fresh, and smelling like real things. It's not a mystery. It's native.
Of course you fell for my charade. Heroes are always so busy heroing that they miss the little details. That's how I was able to trap you and kill you. Oh wait, we haven't got to that second part yet. But we will.
They tell me you're only as old as you feel. Well, then I must be older than dirt. I got angina, bursitis, arthritis, diverticulitis, and the gout. And that's just the stuff I can pronounce.
We love the music.
If it's the greatest hits you hear in the car, it can only be Q105 FM, Atlanta's best music. Listen to the Eagle weekdays for a chance to win $1,000. $1,000.
Enter a bunch of legal mumbo jumbo right here that basically says the same thing. Just listen to the Eagle Monday through Friday between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. for a chance to win $1,000. Void where prohibited. Your mileage may vary. Don't forget to floss, eat your vegetables.
Music that doesn't suck. Z-Rock 103. Download our free app and take K-Rock with you wherever you go.
Except maybe not to a funeral. That's kind of awkward.
You want the truth! You can't handle the truth. The truth is that Mix 107 plays the most hits, more than any other station. Oh, wait, that's not what you were asking about?
All right, so there is a look at a few different demos, and I love starting off with Rebecca because, Rob, those first two clips, we knew it was her voice, but wow, what a transition.
Oh yeah, there was a new one in there that I hadn't heard before. A female that was in the middle That was just
Milena.
Milena. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
she's super pro.
As soon as I heard it, I'm like, who is this? I mean, she knew how to do that Sonos spot was sort of like a deadpan, but not sounding bored.
Yeah.
That was awesome. She just had a really good flat delivery for that. That like, wow, that to me that stood out. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, so that's really, obviously, and it's my job and Rob's job because Rob has done a lot of radio imaging demos, including that last one that was Al on the radio imaging demo.
Award-winning demo
Yes,
by
award-winning
Alma
as
Lay.
Tom Cat too with his video game character stuff. But
Yeah, Tomcat. Oh my.
so it's our job as engineers to make sure that the audio quality is there and that these demos really jump, right? So that's why you kind of like especially with Rob's radio imaging demo, it's really big and it kind of jumps out at you. There should even be some 80s graphics flying at the screen. It's very, very vintage like.
It's a lot of zippity pow doo sound effects and stuff
but
like that.
it's
That's
so
what
much
radio
fun
imaging is all about.
Yeah, it's so much fun. But really the variety is key, especially if you want to get on a talent agency roster, because the more variety you have on a demo, that increases your booking percentage because you can do more than just one style of read. You can't, if I got kind of pigeonholed into this kind of real authentic, warm coffee guy for a while until I started intensifying some of my reads and I got more. And then I got really, I went from really laid back Rob 1 decade to screaming everything 1 decade. And now, of course, I'm Mr. like dry, cynical guy where it's like if there's like a sale, let's say if there's a sale at a clothing store, I'm kind of doing the guy that's like, everybody's really excited about that underwear sale on Dundee and First Street. It's
I'm
like
so
real
thrilled to be
sarcastic.
here.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like people like that dry kind of humor in
Yeah.
Trips a lot. And Rob, for people that have never heard the words radio imaging before, briefly tell us what that is.
Radio imaging is the sonic branding of a radio station. It's the noisy bits between commercials like you heard. It's stuff where they're trying to promote, some concert coming up, call now to win concert tickets, or letting so and so is going to be here, or whatever DJ is on. It's the way that the radio station can try to let you know what's going on, but at the same time show some attitude, which is why they're always like high energy or we're rebels and we do things differently, even though it's every radio station across the country that does it that way. So that's what it is. It's sonic branding for the radio station. And noisy bits between songs.
Back in the 80s, they did a lot of like, and now 3 in a row from Quiet Riot.
They still do, maybe not Quiet Riot, but they still do that kind of like, and now, 10 songs commercial free, brought to you by whatever. But yeah, and I mean, they're designed to be larger than life because they are trying to grab the listener's attention. And so that's why they're bigger and bombastic because they're trying to be. They're trying to grab you by the collar and say, listen.
Well, it's funny because they always say like, 1 hour commercial free, but yet you've got the announcer promo guy interrupting every song. So it's not really a commercial, but it's not really uninterrupted.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Let's talk about voiceover websites briefly, because we have a lot of stuff to get to, including your questions at the end. Voiceover websites, you should never overthink a voiceover website. A one-page, user-friendly website where clients can learn a little bit about you, but really it's very important that your demos stand out on the front page. There's no reason for a new voice actor to have like 7 pages. Don't share a website. I saw some voice actor where like half of her website was voice acting and the other half was dog grooming. That just screws everything up in the search engines. It's really bad for SEO and it's really confusing to what will be a hopeful client. So if you have, if you're kind of a Renaissance person and you've got many businesses, make sure you have a separate website for all of them, please. But voiceover website should never be anything too flashy because you know what? If a client takes longer than like 15 seconds to find your demo, they're going to move on to the next talent because the search is on and everybody's everybody's overwhelmed, everybody's too busy, not enough help in the office, whatever. I could go on and on, but clients don't have time to sit there and try to find, Rob, I've seen websites where their demos on the fifth page of the website, and it took me 10 minutes to find.
Yeah.
This is your calling card. I mean, you should have it like literally practically under your logo on the front
Front and
page.
center. It should be the most prominent, obvious thing that a person can click on, and it should be clickable. Don't let it autoplay. God, that's the worst.
No,
and
yeah,
it needs to be downloadable. It needs
Yeah.
to be something that they can download and then send to other people in the agency or whatever. But yeah, it needs to be. Don't make me look for it. If I have to scroll down to find your demos or click to another page to find your demos, I'm moving on.
And I'm going to tell you right now, despite what any of these pay-to-play audition sites say, they're going to try to get you to put their logo and a link to their directory on your website. And they're going to promise you that it's going to help your SEO. That's 100% bullshit. And I'll tell you why. It's a one-way link, which does nothing for your website. It will help their SEO even more. And guess what? If somebody clicks on your big flashy voices.com banner on your website, suddenly within one click, they've been introduced to 300,000 voices, never ever to return to the website where they started, and that would be yours. So we don't need to help these services out there. If you want to use them, that's fine. But Rob, I'm not putting a link to voices.com on my website.
No, there's no reason to give your potential client an option to listen to somebody else.
Yeah.
And if I can do that with one click, that's the wrong idea. I want to be the only possible choice that they have.
But
And
they'll
so-
try to get you to do it because they promise you SEO favoritism by Google, which is
Of course.
a sack of crap.
It drives backlinks to them.
Right.
If you promote
Right,
and say,
backlinks.
here's my demo on my Voice 123 profile, then Voice 123 benefits from you sending people to their site. No, you want people to go to your site. Your website should be the hub, the central focus of your business, not somebody else's page that might get shut off overnight. Control your own destiny. That sounded really
And
weird.
by
but
the
that's exactly
domain,
what
I
I
know
mean.
a lot of people use Wix and sometimes they don't want to pay for the service, but trust me, you don't want the word Wix in the middle of your domain on your business card. That's going to look extremely amateurish. Spend the money, get the domain so it's robmarleyvoice.com instead of Rob Marley Voice Wix, 17 letters with a couple of,
Wix.com /
Yeah.
Rob Marley _ 45327.
Right, exactly.
No.
I've seen people put that on business cards and it looks awful.
I really think it's about looking like a professional. If your website looks like it was slapped together overnight, that's not going to look very good. If you have your own dedicated website, which by the way, it's called marleyaudio.com.
Oh
if
my
you
God,
have
the shameless plug. There it is. He couldn't
But I
wait
mean-
to get to that tonight.
But have a business name that you can use for your website address. Don't use the generic one. It just makes you look like an amateur.
I agree 100%. All right. Well, we're here to talk about recording gear. We don't think you should focus too much on recording gear when you're first getting started because learning the art of voice acting, I think, should be the prerogative. But we're going to talk a little bit about what's really good starter gear that won't break the bank. We really like the Rode NT1 mic. You can write some of the stuff down. For a USB interface, we like the Scarlett 2i2. These are very affordable. I mean, they're not going to make your audio sound fantastic because the room treatment, the area that you're recording in is, not only just as important as the gear, probably more important because you could have an MK416 like this that's powered by an Avalon or an Apollo twin preamp. And if you're recording in a room with really high ceilings and hardwood floors and you sound like you're recording in your kitchen, your $1,200 mic's going to sound like
Absolutely.
crap. Yeah.
It's that the acoustics, the space that the microphone is in is I'm going to say it, is more important than the microphone. If you have a really expensive microphone, but it's in an untreated space, it's going to sound terrible. I can take a crappy, webcam mic. I could take a Yeti and put it in a recording studio, and it's going to sound incredible. But I can take a 416 or a TLM 103 or any one of these big fancy mics and put it in a bathroom, and it's going to sound like crap. It's the space around it that you need to treat, because it's the reverb that kills that sound. If it sounds like you're in a, recording in a bathroom, nobody's going to want it. You have to have clean, solid audio to begin with.
Yeah, so check the Rode NT1 mics, a solid, condenser mic, XLR powered mic that's got a nice warm sound to it. My only gripe, and this I think was in some of the older versions of the Scarlett 2i2, is you really have to crank up the gain to have any kind of serviceable dB level, and sometimes you kind of run out of power on those, Rob, and they're not real. They don't really like the Apollo. I mean, I barely have my gain up, and it's just like really booming, you know?
Well, mics like the 416 and large diaphragm condensers, like the NT1 or the U87 or the 103, they require more juice. I mean, yeah, you get phantom power from it. That 7 point whatever, or 4.48 volts. 48 volts. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's just powering the microphone, but it needs a little more oomph, where you get into things like cloud lifters and stuff like that. I mean, a 2i2 and the Rode NT1 is such a great combination that's not going to break the bank. It's pricey, but it's not going to hurt you. It's not going to hurt you long term, because this is something that you can use for years. I still have an NT1 and love it.
Yeah, you can get the NT or the Rode NT1 and the Scarlett 2i2 probably for about $450, $500 combined.
Yeah.
And then, check out the Sennheiser HD 280 Pros for headphones. They'll give you a really solid studio sound. I mean, I have the VSX, these were more expensive than my microphone. But I'm mixing music and mastering music now too, so I have to really hear what it sounds like perfect.
No, the 280. I have a set of 280 Pros that I love. They were a little head squeezy to begin with. A
little heavy on the head. I was just going to say, if anybody has ADD issues like I have, having really like heavy headphones where it feels like you're wearing a freaking football helmet can be pretty distracting when you're recording. So definitely, you want good sounding headphones, but you want something more comfortable too. Not so comfortable that it's this, Rob.
No, Sony makes a set of headphones called the MDR 7506. I mean, we don't need to talk gear all night, but
does anybody have any of the? Does anybody have
Walkman headphones? No, not anymore. But no, the MDR 7506. It's under $100. They're in every studio I've ever walked into. They've been like the industry standard for decades.
Yeah,
and it's just a solid flat response. It's not going to give you extra bass like a Beats by Dre. They're adding EQ into the headphones, so it's not a true representation of what you recorded. And you need something that is flat in your ears so that it sounds exactly the way you recorded it, so you're not adding or taking something away.
Exactly. Sixth step is marketing, and that's why a demo is so important, because now we're at this point when you're starting off that it's time to start finding clients, right? So what I like to do, it's kind of a boring task, but it's really important, is I start one of those Google spreadsheets like Google Docs, and I start listing. I don't do it as much as I used to when I first started, but I start putting down prospective clients. Now that could be clients at production studios, or it could be talent agents. It could be video production directors in corporations. By the way, if anybody who lives near like a big corporation, I bet when you drive by it, the first thing that comes to your mind is, man, I bet they got a killer recording studio in there. Guess what? They do. A lot of them have huge floors. The video production department is a great lead resource for a voice actor. These are directors, video production directors, that don't really have time to go through talent agencies or sift through 500 voices on a pay-to-play site. They keep a relatively small pool of talent. That's how I got my clients at like 3M, General Mills. Really good direct contacts for you guys to market to once you have your demos. And yes, it's important to get on a talent agency roster here and there. That can be really good for your credibility, and you can book some really well-paying work that way. But we're kind of out of that era where you can really depend on a talent agent to make a full-time living at this. I mean, 80% of my annual income from year to year comes by way of working directly with the client. Maybe they're a client I found on LinkedIn. Maybe I made a cold call to General Mills, which by the way did happen. It took a number of calls, but eventually I did get to the right person. Because sometimes it does. I mean, sometimes the person that answers the phone has no idea what you're talking about. They don't know who the decision maker is. They had no idea there was a video production department in their building. So they should, but sometimes you have to kind of go through the hoops a little bit on there. But um, there's a multitude of avenues you could go down, because when Rob and I got started, we didn't have the internet. Now every clients are a virtual handshake away on the internet. We didn't have these contacts right in front of us. And LinkedIn, by the way, I'm a big fan of LinkedIn for a couple of reasons. It's a social media platform that has really stayed true to its original format of being a business to business connector. All these other social media sites have jumped the shark. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, oh, puke on Instagram. With their algorithm is so messed up now. It's not even worth being on. But
I've only ever used
Rob, I still get half a dozen brand new clients every year from LinkedIn.
Oh no, LinkedIn's the way to go. LinkedIn's like Facebook for business, but I've only ever used Instagram for like taking cool pictures. I've never used it
well,
for
that's what it
marketing.
was supposed to be. Now it's gotten like it's just so full of ads, like everything else. But use these platforms once you have your demo, and don't be afraid to market to places where you're kind of like, oh, I don't know if I should call this person. I don't know if I should send an email to this person. You'd be surprised. One little tip that always works for me when you're trying to contact a prospective client, I use emails for one purpose, and that's to get a meeting with the client. I don't send attachments of my demos. I don't brag about my voice throughout 17 paragraphs in the email, and bore the prospective client to tears. It's basically a way to introduce myself, what I do, how I can help their business grow, or how I can help them move a product. And then the email's over and literally a paragraph long. But I always end the email with saying, hey, do you have 10 minutes to chat with me on Zoom or the phone Thursday, at 1 o'clock? Always end your marketing email with a question, because now the client feels more compelled to answer it. You kind of put them in a weird spot, right? If you end the email saying, thanks for your time, have a nice day. Well, now they're like, oh, now I don't even have to get back to this person. So there is a strategy in ending that email with a question. But again, keep it brief. The email should be used to get the live appointment with the client, to have a consultation, if you will, because that's where you truly sell yourself. And then at that point, Rob, is then when you can send your professional demos to that particular client.
Absolutely. My initial email to a potential client, to a lead, is always like a couple of sentences. Hey, do you keep a roster of voice talent? My name is Rob Marley. I'm a voice actor that specializes in commercial production. How do I get on the team? That's it. That's all I say. And then when they reply back, or if they reply back, they say, yeah, send me your demo, or yeah, what's your rates? Then that's an opportunity for me to start to continue the conversation and say, hey, my rates are this, 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 and I can turn around projects within 30 minutes, and I have a professional studio, and blah, 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 whatever little bullet points you have to throw into the conversation, but then try to continue the conversation. Say, always ask a question. Say, here's my demo and blah, blah, blah. What kind of work do you guys normally like to do? Or how quick are your turnarounds? Or what's your plan? What are your goals for the future? Like, get a conversation started, because no one wants to work with a stranger. They all want to work with somebody that they're familiar with. So if you're carrying on a conversation with somebody, it makes them feel a little bit more comfortable. I worked with one person because of my name being Rob Marley. And that got us a whole long conversation about Bob Marley and reggae music and all that stuff. And
what a great conversation starter.
It's a great way to go and get going, and people remember the name. Like, hey, I just talked to Rob Marley, and whatever. I'm the pale Jamaican, but it's a great way to get the conversation started and continue on. And then I'm asking questions and saying, can I send you my demo? And then when they say yes, then I ask another question and say, and try and keep the thing going. The
And
longer you
keep
keep
it
them
fun.
connected,
Make
the
it
better.
fun. Be likable.
Absolutely.
It sounds weird, but be likable. Make the client laugh. I always get into these conversations about sports, depending on where the client is from, and what football team they're. I mean, it's so easy for me to like talk talk sports and music and everything else. And then the sooner that you start kind of laughing about other stuff than the reason that you actually called, that's actually a really good thing.
Absolutely.
Seventh step,
Yeah, go ahead.
patience and perseverance. This is not, now you're going to see this online all the time, about making money quickly. Getting into voiceovers is not a quick solution if you just lost your job or you're unemployed. I mean, I empathize with you. We've all been there, but this is not going to be a quick fix where you can make thousands and thousands of dollars just by, doing like voice. You really have to go through the training which by the way, it's a fun process. I mean, we have a program called the Big Kahuna, which is a really fun program. We do script sessions, we do marketing sessions, we do home studio setup. I mean, you name it before we get to your demo. But the training, this isn't like tarring the rooftop of a skyscraper, in the middle of the winter in Minneapolis. The learning part is really fun. And sure, we all want to make some money at it eventually. But again, this is not really a quick fix like a lot of these kind of voiceover ads tell you that they are. So you really have to be patient. You've got to put in the work for sure. And, good things will absolutely happen. By the way, the irony of this cassette presentation here, or the slides, is Rob, my first demo was on a cassette just like this.
Actually, I think I had a demo on tape at one point, but
Yeah.
I think I was in the CD era more than anything else.
I thought I had it in here with me. I had all the commercial demo was side A, and we called it industrial narration demo. That was on side B of the cassette, and they were both too long. And of course, every clip on the demo sounded like I was doing an urgent weather bulletin. So that was not good. And the eighth step is taking the leap. Believe it or not, this is the hardest part because everybody always is so interested in getting into voiceovers. And then some, drop off a little bit when they find out they have to spend a little money and put a little work in, which by the way, this is why it makes the business really not as competitive as you might hear. Because there's a lot of people that are hoping for miracles within about 2 to 3 days. Again, people that just lost their job and they're looking for a quick fix. Well, these people are going to go on to something else 2 months later because they realize that, they can't make easy money in like 7 days. So there went half of your competition, which is a good thing. So that's why this business really isn't as competitive as some people say. And I don't know, voiceover can sometimes get that bad reputation of being a business that's really competitive. I mean, try being a real estate agent, try being a singer, try being a professional sports athlete. I mean, every business is competitive. I mean, it's just like you can't really get away from that. But, you take some of these steps and put in the work, because I guarantee at least 50% of the people getting into voiceovers are not going to be willing to put in the work, both financially and they're not going to be, Rob, they're not going to be patient enough to wait for it to happen.
That's it. That's the big kicker here. The information we're giving is not super secret. The stuff the pros don't want you to know or anything like that.
Oh, God, I hate that line.
It's I know that's why I love to do. I love to torment you with it. But it's all about doing something with the information that we're giving you. I mean, it's basic information, but 90% of the people fail because they aren't taking the steps. They aren't putting in the work. They think that I've submitted 100 auditions. I should be making money now. No, maybe it's 110. Maybe it's 1,000. Maybe it's 50. It doesn't, it's different for each person, but you've got to put in the effort.
And maybe you're not booking because you never had help working on your skills.
That's the key thing. Like you think you know what you're doing, but you're never hearing back from anybody. That might be a clue that you need to get better training.
Absolutely. All right, we're gonna just we might go a little over if you guys don't mind. We won't keep you too long, but I'd like to take a few questions at the end of this. But right now, do me a huge favor. If you're on your desktop computer, your laptop, your tablet, your phone, go to uvtvirtual.com because I have an exciting program to just talk about for a few minutes. Because one of the other biggest questions we have, hey, I can't really afford a really big voiceover training program right now, but I'm really passionate about learning voice acting the right way. I get tired of hearing it from my friends to do something with my voice. And we finally built a membership program called uvtvirtual.com, where you get training videos sent to your email. You get invited to 3 live Zoom classes a month. This could be on script performance. We might work a little bit on marketing. We might work a little bit on home studio setup. So there's plenty of videos. And the beauty of this program is you can take the training at your own time. There's no deadlines. You don't have to like be online at a certain date. I mean, you do for the live classes, but you'll see on uvtvirtual.com the different videos that you'll get with your membership. It's $30 a month. And you don't have to hang around forever if you don't want to. You're not locked into a 10-year contract or anything like that. If you decide after a couple of months that you just don't want to do it anymore, you can cancel, and we're not going to give you a hard time for canceling. I mean, we do hope you keep it because that's that's where growth happens, and we do a lot of fun live classes. So do me a favor and hit that join now button and just try it out. This is a chance for you to get your feet wet and learn the ropes of voice acting without spending thousands and thousands of dollars on a training program. And we got some testimonials in there. And we do have a bonus too, Rob. I want to talk, and then I'll let you get it. If you sign up tonight, we do have a bonus. You're going to get a one-on-one voiceover coaching with either Rob or myself. That's if you sign up tonight. I'm going to give you a 60-minute voiceover marketing course on video. That, by the way, has like an $800 value attached to it. I'm going to give you my VO Magic Stack, which is really an effects rack to help you with your sound. It's just basically a little bit of compression, some EQ, a little saturation, a limiter, and you can use it in any DAW like Adobe Audition, Reaper, if you have Adobe Audition, you can just put it right in there and it'll show up. I mean, if you have something like Studio One or Audacity, you can just copy the settings, but that will come you'll get that if you sign up tonight. And then, so the bonuses are really outstanding. And again, it's a really good way to get your feet wet without breaking the bank. So there's a couple of spots. Hit that join now button and give UVT Virtual a try. I mean, Rob, to be transparent with you, I really wish something like this would have been around when I got started many, many moons ago.
Yeah, back in the days before the internet, when you had to like do stuff and research, and like encyclopedia was the only place that you could get most information. It was hard to figure out how to be a voice actor. It wasn't as common. Oh, okay. Got some music playing. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's all right.
But honestly, no. That's
our 5-minute warning music.
This is something I wish existed like 20 years ago. It would have saved so many headaches and so many missteps, because you've got somebody showing you exactly what you need to do, and learning the skills that you need to be successful. It's a fantastic program.
Take a look at the curriculum preview on there too, because you'll get videos on all those subjects where you can kind of watch at your own speed. And again, I mean, it's worth it just for the 3 live Zoom classes. I mean, it's not another intro class like this one. We actually practice scripts. Sam Nugent and a couple of our other UVT virtual members, or our Big Kahuna members, are actually in this class, and they could write something in the chat and kind of tell you a little bit more about it. But it's live interaction with me and us working on video game character scripts, narration scripts, commercial scripts, and we try to change it up. We'll work on auditions. And by the way, something I didn't mention that also comes with the membership is I like to send out script homework. So what I'll do is I'll email our UVT virtual members a script or two, give them a little bit of direction on how I want the performance to sound. And then on your own time, you go and record 2 takes of every script. You email me the MP3, and then I give you some constructive feedback. Sometimes it'll take me a week or so to get through everybody, but that's a really good way, Rob, to kind of virtually learn and get better. I mean, it's not nothing matches the power of live coaching, but again, if you don't have the cash flow to do like a bigger training program, this is a good way to start and a good way to learn and get your feet wet.
Uh, it's a great way to learn the skills, but it's like watching a video on golfing, on how to swing a golf club. You know, you can learn a lot about how to hold your hands and how to, rotate the club so that the face is hitting the ball the right way and how to do the backswing. But if you wanted to compete, like actually be a professional golfer, you're going to need somebody standing there going, you're doing this wrong. Try it this way, and that's the one thing that the virtual thing doesn't offer is the one-on-one coaching. But it's a simple step to go from the UVT virtual to one-on-one coaching with you or me or one of the other coaches that we have, and start building those skills directly.
Yeah. So hit the join now button. And again, if you sign up tonight, you get all those bonuses. You get you get the audio setup, you get the marketing course, you get the one-on-one coaching session with Rob or myself. So yeah, we hope you give UVT virtual a try. So right now, and I know we're running a little bit late, but
big surprise.
It's time. Let's party!
For the UVT voiceover webinar Q&A.
I swear that Let's Party thing sounds like me from the last conference that we were at. Let's party!
Well, Rob, we don't have a lot of time, but do we have some questions that you didn't already answer?
It's funny.
You're always good at typing back to people, but
I'm pretty good about that.
Do we have anything in there?
Yeah, there's a good one. Linda asked, when contacting people via LinkedIn, do you contact them in LinkedIn messages or find their email? And is there laws around contacting a direct, as long as I know we have some interesting laws about selling via email. So I kind of do both. If I'm going after a client or a lead, I'm going to try and find their email. I'm going to try and contact them through their regular email address, but I'm also going to find them on LinkedIn, and I'm going to try and connect with them on LinkedIn. And usually I just say, hey, so-and-so, I'm Rob Marley, a voice artist in Austin, Texas. Would love to add you to my network if that's okay. And if they reply, then it gives you another opportunity to reach out to them. But as far as like laws and things like that, as long as you're not spamming them every day saying, hey, I'm still here, why haven't I heard from you, hey, why can't you use me, that sort of thing. Paying attention to spam is the most important thing. We all know if we get one or too many emails in a week from the same person, we tend to unsubscribe from whatever that is. So don't be that guy. Send them an email as an initial email. If you don't hear back, send them another email in a couple of weeks. If you don't hear back, send them another email in a month and say, hey, just checking in, not trying to bug you. Hey, just touching base again. Here's something I may have done. As long as you're not hitting them every day, it's not going to come across as spam.
And don't be afraid, getting back to the LinkedIn question, don't be afraid to engage in conversations in the comment thread too, like of an ad agency or a talent agent. They always post really fun things on LinkedIn. It's a good way to kind of get your name. What I like about LinkedIn is it's almost like billboard advertising because it says what you do for a living right next to your name. So the more comments you make, the more your name gets out there. Like I have Terry Daniel, voice actor, demo producer, music mixer, whatever the hell I wrote this week. It's always right next to my name. So if somebody likes what I have to say in a comment and there's a little bit of back and forth, good things will happen. And sooner or later, somebody will DM you. And by the way, watch out for like, oh, we need voice actors for this big giant project. Talent agents don't DM talents looking for talent, by the way. So be very careful with some of that DM voiceover spam that's out there. And if you ever get something that's just kind of weird and wacky and you're not sure about it, you can always email me and just ask me about it because we've certainly seen it all. We really have in the number of years that we've been doing this. Rob, do we have another question or two before we say goodnight?
Yeah. How does voice acting compare to video, commercials, movie, TV for each of us? For each of start. To start, they're all different. Eric.
Yeah, they're
He was the one
different
that asked.
genres.
Yeah, it's totally different genres. You can start in any one of those, but to get into like video games, you really need to be on your game. You need to know performance. You need to be an actor because AAA titles, Rockstar Games is not going to hire a no talent or not no talent, but a no experienced person
Right.
to be in their next game. They're going to want actors. And so if you want to be a voice actor, learn acting. As far as commercial, yeah, you also need to understand acting as far as emotion and conveying the emotion correctly and authentically. But each one's different. Promo is different than radio imaging, which is different than medical narration, which is different than voice acting. I mean, they're all using your voice, but each one is a different field of expertise that you want to focus on.
Absolutely. Let's take one more and then we'll say goodnight. And again, make sure to give UVT Virtual a try, uvtvirtual.com. Make sure you hit the join now button and sign up. And we actually have, I was going to mention this earlier, but we actually have a class tomorrow night, a UVT virtual members class tomorrow night. So if you sign up tonight, you will be invited to that class tomorrow night. And it's not another intro class like this one. We're actually going to work on 3 or 4 different commercial scripts and also a video game character script. So keep
Yeah,
that in mind. Tomorrow
Sam
night at
mentioned
6.
that tomorrow night. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
so
awesome.
one more question. One more question.
Yeah.
Martin asked, would you recommend joining AFTRA or would you be a free or would being a free agent suffice?
I would start by being a non-union voice actor and trying to get some direct clients and build up that client portfolio before you start looking at joining unions. I mean, the union will take your money. You can actually just sign up on the website, but honestly, I'm still non-union and I do you can actually if you're non-union, by the way, you can do a certain number of union gigs a year without actually joining
Yeah.
SAG-AFTRA because
Yeah.
all the political spots I do actually goes through that is a union gig and I have to do a paymaster thing and all that kind of stuff. But
You
yeah,
can
I
you
wouldn't
can
focus on SAG-AFTRA until you actually build up a little bit of a resume.
Absolutely. Being a SAG after person is it looks great, but I think SAG even said like 98% of everybody on SAG is not a working actor. They're all working in restaurants and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Joining SAG, first of all, to join SAG, it's like $3,500 initiation fee, and then you have to pay dues.
Yeah.
All just to say that you're union. Unless you're working at a level that's getting you work all the time, there's no reason to join the union. The union just makes it accessible to bigger jobs. If you wanted to do national gigs or even regional gigs, it's probably going to need to be a union job. But like you said, Terry, you can do plenty of union gigs until they say, all right, you need to join the union now.
Right, exactly. And you're if you're on an agency roster, they'll even book you for union gigs. And then when you've had you're right, a certain number of bookings, and they'll probably make you sign up for it. But
The good old Taft-Hartley thing.
all right, that is going to do it for tonight because it's about 10 after 7. So we really appreciate it. My name's Terry Daniel, voice actor and coach from Minneapolis, Minnesota. That's Rob Marley up there from Austin, Texas. We really appreciate everybody taking time out of their Wednesday evening to join us. It means a lot. So, and hopefully we'll see you in the UVT virtual members area. So go there and give it a try and join up. And again, it's the ultimate way to just kind of get your feet wet if you're really passionate and serious about getting started the right way. And maybe we'll see even a few of you in the UVT virtual script performance class tomorrow night.
Great.
Already, I got to be right back in here. Rob, thank you for your time. Thank you for
No
taking
problem,
the
bud.
questions and everything. And thank you, everybody. We really appreciate it. Have a great evening, and we'll talk to everybody very, very soon. Take
Bye,
care.
everybody.
Bye, everybody.